Again, so consolidation final for Trackmania 2 playoffs. We will be having, of course, again, Tween, Massa, Spam and Roa on the maps of Sin City, Kids in Love, Makes You Think, Toxic and Cold Sweat in that order. So do have Massa, who is of course holding some world records, or one world record at least in this map pool now. So we've got that to take into account, but we'll have the players warming up here. And then we will get underway with the first round on this map. It will be to 130 points, and then we will have we'll have 4 rounds on each map. Of course, 5 maps in order. Once you reach 130 points, you will activate finalist mode, of which you will be able to, once you win the next round, you will secure your position. And just to confirm, Massa starts off with 10 bonus points, and Tween also starts off with 10 bonus points by virtue of them. Massa gets 6, pardon me, yes. So Tween on 10 due to becoming 3rd in his winner bracket match, and the winner bracket final, sorry, and Massa gets 6 coming from the winner bracket final. So with this, they'll be starting off with a small advantage here, but Roa and Spam certainly will have the space to recover from that, as we are having an increased points limit, of course. So we will start off round number 1 on Sin City. Let's see what the players can do here. We'll start off with Tween, by virtue of him coming from the upper bracket and getting 3rd in this match. So let's see what Tween can do in round number 1. We already see Massa dropping down early. Not too much of an error though from Massa. He is still, well actually he is about a second behind. Let's see if anyone else manages to come back. Or sorry, anyone else manages to make a mistake and bring Massa into some more points. Or if that is his bonus points eradicated immediately. But Tween still holding strong up here in the top position with Roa. Roa got a more inside line there, but it does mean Tween will have more speed. Gets a straight landing, but had to adjust slightly so he didn't fall off the side of that little ledge there. So Spam draws level with him. Tween with a slight advantage here though. Going through this corner, he'll have a slightly better angle. Spam drops back now to 3rd. Massa's made another mistake, but now Roa still in the lead, but only by 1/2 of a second. Is it going to stay that way? Spam's on the attack now. Goes a bit higher up here, so he won't have the best angle going through here. Roa in first though. Does have a good line going through here. Tween, due to his angle, has to go for the safe finish. So that means Spam will take 2nd in front of him. Roa secures the first 10 points of the match. And the 2 people with bonus points are the 2 lowest finishers.
Yeah, true. Roa and Spam with the best start. Interesting decision by Tween, or a wise decision actually, because I also think he wouldn't have made the turn into the left finish. But yeah, he lost the 2nd place there. So next round is starting. Massa did fail the start in the previous round, so now he didn't do that, but he has a bad line and crashed. Oh yeah, he crashed in this turn as well, so Massa with a poor start into the match. The other 3 players again battling for the 1st place. And again we see Tween looking very good here. Also now in the lead still in this section of the map, followed by Roa and Spam still very close, only 1/10 between all the 3 players. Massa now, Spam now going for a different line, trying to get more speed, but he lost some more time, so it's just Tween versus Roa, risky line between both players here. Tween, can you hold the pressure from Roa? Oh, did we see Roa making a mistake here? Yes. So Roa has to take the right finish and falls back to 3rd place. That means Spam gains another 2nd place in the finish actually. And Tween now with a 10-pointer. Massa again last.
Yeah, Tween hit off with quite a good time there, a 104.6. That's only 3/10 in the world record there. So Tween certainly showing that Massa's not the only one who can drive the really strong times here. So Massa not feeling as confident at the start here, so wonder if this will be his turnaround. Of course he did have the 6 bonus points and he's already still at the bottom of the pack with Spam. Roa 2 points ahead of them, and Tween with the advantage already. So Spam actually in the lead of this match, this map's round, pardon me, 3rd time lucky. Massa, however, Roa is coming back here, goes a bit wider there, gets a bit of a smoother exit down in that turn, and as such is getting closer and closer to Massa releases a bit earlier there so he can get a bit more exit speed, but he gets a good line going through here, overtaking Spam. Tween's trying to get in the party as well, went really inside there, and he takes a lot of speed through it. Spam drops off, he touches the roof. Massa in the lead now, however. Will Roa get close enough? We don't know, but Tween on the attack. Will he take Roa in this last section? Roa a lot of speed, but Tween takes it by 21 hundredths of a second. Massa does take first though for 104.7, finally bringing himself back into the match and immediately straight up to second place.
Yeah, so far it's the typical Massa match. He either gets first or last. So next round is starting. Everyone is making the start and the first drift without any problem. Still very close. Tween going for an extra drift and drives a totally different line compared to the other players in this right drift turn, and lost some speed with that. So he falls back, is 1/10 behind the leader, and there goes Massa again with a crash, so probably a next last place for him. Touch the inside in the turn, so Roa now takes the lead, and Spam and Tween are fighting for second, but still they are very close to Roa, only 1/10. Spam with the inside line overtakes Tween, also comes close to Roa at the top. Also here he tries to take the inside line, but Roa exits with more speed. Now this risky turn here over the edge. All three players make it, but Tween loses some ground. He will stay on third place probably, so Spam on second. Right behind Roa, can he attack him? No, oh, Roa, very close with the finish, but he finishes it nicely with a .62, very good time by Roa. He also performed nicely on this map in the previous match. And well, Spam got his second place, but second places are pretty unlucky here in this point system. But anyway, he scored not bad, but still he is on last place in the total standings.
Exactly as you said, it just kind of goes to show off this points standing that even second places, of course it used to be 10, 7, 5 and 3 if I remember correctly, which would lead to quicker matches, but not enough of a gift for going for first place. So I believe the argument for that was that for players like who are in a close battle, if they didn't feel as confident for it, they could just safe and it'd only be a few points behind, but by the end of the match. But of course with this there's a lot more of a benefit to getting first place and a lot more of an impact for falling further down the field, with of course only 6 points for second and 4 points for third, so bigger gaps can be built up here. But after one map we're only seeing 13 points between first and last, which is certainly not very much considering how quickly these players can turn the match on its head. But we go on to Kids in Love here, and a kind of important statistic you kind of want to take into place here is on every map apart from Sin City, which has just been driven, Massa has driven the fastest time in this tournament so far. Of course not the league stage, just the playoffs, but in the rounds Massa has driven the fastest time on every map apart from Sin City. So I mean, he is only in third place here at the moment, but again with Massa he just needs to be driving those rounds to get himself into the top positions.
Yeah, he needs only 1 or 2 first places on each map and would definitely stay or go in the lead and stay there, because the 10 pointers are so important. So now we go live in the next map, Kids in Love by Wally. Massa jumping with the ultra inside line there and taking the lead, but loses some ground but air time and falls back now actually to last position. He tries the inside line here but exits with less speed, so Massa is now in last place and has to try some really risky corners to catch up to the other players. Meanwhile, oh, Massa with a mistake, so he gets probably last again. Meanwhile, we got a fight for first place. Oh, Tween touching the wall on a part where you would not expect it actually. He falls back to third now, leaving Roa now in the top. Spam following him, and Spam is about to do another second place. Or can he catch up to Roa now, this risky last hairpin? But both players make it like equally. Now they only have to do the jump, and yes they do. So Roa takes another first place, Spam second. And yeah, a typical round. Spam second, Massa last.
Yeah, exactly. As you exactly said, at the moment he's first or last in these rounds. he needs to kind of take a few lessons from your book and start safing a few of these rounds. As of course he does have the pace, but he doesn't need to win every single round for this match. He just needs to get good times. Doesn't need to be spectacular times. And just take the kind of approach Tween is taking in this match. Roa of course spam as well, but only 11 points separating first to last now, so it's getting closer and closer here. Tween still leading in points, but now joint with Roa. Speaking of Roa, he is in first place here at the moment. We've seen him perform well on this map, but we've also seen him having quite a lot of trouble in some certain sections. But Tween, with a lot of speed going through there, does overtake Roa as a result, and will move into first place. If he keeps this, he will solidify his first place in this match. Has a bit of an awkward line there due to going too close to the checkpoint. Will have more speed than Roa, but means he needs to jump into this turn, and he needs to risk it through this final corner, but it will not be enough. Massa, however, coming back with more speed than Tween. Will he be able to take the second place and keep it? He will. So great round there by everyone involved. Only 2/10 between first and last, leading to Roa now taking the advantage of 6 points over Tween, and Massa slightly catching up, but not close enough yet.
Incredible comeback that Massa did in the last section, the previous round. He went from last to second, overtook Tween and Spam. So next round is starting. Roa is currently playing really well and got into the lead now in the total standings. In this round, however, he finds himself only at third place, right in front of Tween, but both are losing some ground already to Massa and Spam. Good section by Roa now, he comes a little bit closer, so now this important hairpin where we see Spam crashing, and also Roa falls back. Massa also didn't take it perfectly, that means that Tween comes closer to Massa, but still Massa's holding the lead. Got a good angle here in this turn, and has only to do the last turn nicely, and I think he will do it. No airtime, getting the jump. Oh, Tween with a mistake, but he still can maybe finish, I'm not sure, but Massa takes first place for sure, and Tween can't finish. Oh, that's so unlucky. So unlucky for Tween, so he loses the second place. Roa gets second instead, and Spam third.
Yeah, so Tween's now down to third in points in the space of this one map. Spam's 8 points behind him at the bottom here, so Spam really needs to get his head in the game again. Roa, however, despite being top in points, is last in the round, made an early mistake. You see here Massa, who is second in points, closest to Roa at the moment, is currently leading the round with a 10th ahead of Tween, who is chasing and closing in slowly but surely on Massa. He wants to recover the lost points he had from going swimming there. So Tween in the lead here, doesn't get a lot of airtime there, and there's a good turn there going through. Massa drops back. Now Tween is all on his lonesome up at the top. So no good time here is Tween, but he can afford to just safe now. He has a very healthy gap between him and Massa. Massa will need to pull off an absolute miracle to get the win here. And Roa looks to be securing the third place, and Spam in fourth, but let's make sure Tween doesn't have problems with the ending this time. He does not. Massa secures second place, Roa gets third, and Spam eventually gets fourth as well. So Tween didn't need to drive the fastest time there. Everyone else surely, of course, made too many mistakes, but Tween now brings himself back into second with 52 points.
Yeah, it's a back and forth in this match. Everyone is sometimes getting the good rounds and then again crashes. Anyway, Spam is the only player that really misses a 10-pointer and falls back even more. Also didn't get that many second places now lately. So he got some disadvantage to the other players with only 37 points. Still, the gap is not too big because the 10-pointers are pretty equally for the other three players. They got like equally wins in this match so far.
Yeah, they're definitely the kind of trading wins almost. The kind of points you're seeing are more a reflection of when when someone isn't winning, the positions are most commonly taking up. As in Roa wins almost equal amount as Tween, but Roa might be more consistently hitting the second places instead of Tween hitting thirds, for example. Massa, of course, a reflection of him either winning or getting last, shows why he's in third. So, quite evenly matched, all of these players, I would say, as some, of course, maybe not as consistent as the others in the case of Massa, but everyone there, a 103.6 driven by Massa and two 103.8s being driven by Spam and Roa. So really good times to start us off with, and hopefully with the first round in this match we will see some very, very fast times being driven. But let's check out Spam, who needs them the most. He is currently in last position at the moment, 13 points behind behind Massa and 15 behind Tween. So let's see what he can do here. He is currently behind Massa already and loses a bit of speed going over the little blue inside section. Everyone's relatively close here though. Tween diving in on the inside there, doesn't get a lot of exit speed going over the little off-road to blue part there. Roa's dropped slightly behind as well, but not too far behind to make a difference here. Gets a bit of air time. So now he is following Tween, trying to capitalise on any mistakes the Slovakian player will make. Spam up in second though, chasing down Massa. Let's see how that battle's going. Only 1/10 between the two former teammates. Massa in the lead, however, they need a good ending here. Spam especially needs it. Massa gets a little bit of an awkward landing there. Spam going to go for it. He's going for the outside line to start off with, and a good jump here, but Massa takes it with a 103.8. Spam has to settle for second once again despite the good time he got there. Tween gets third again with a good time, but Roa makes a mistake, costing him any points and leaving him in fourth.
Well, he was on the last place anyway. He was crashing the finish jump and was on his roof and turtled into the finish line. But there was fourth place anyway, still a very good round between all players. Coming to the next round here, and Roa makes the first mistake, so he is out already. Also Massa crashed, leaving only Spam and Tween at the top, who are still close to each other. Tween taking the lead here, goes a bit wider, exits with more speed. So he's a bit ahead of Spam, who comes back on this left-hander. So now will they both do the inside pull? Yes, they will. And Spam is overtaking Tween here. Also gets the better angle here. Tween had to release very shortly, I think, at the blue section, so Spam takes the lead, but Tween comes back here in this turn. Still Spam is holding the lead. This is the opportunity for Spam to finally get a 10-pointer. Tween with the extra slide before the transition, and Spam, wow, much tilted in the air in the last jump, but finally he got his 10 points, and this is very important for him, of course. And look at the points, it's incredibly close. 64 for Massa, also for Roa. Tween only 2 points behind, and Spam at 53 comes back closer.
Just shows how equal these players are and the kind of level they're hitting at the moment. Of course, Roa though really not having the best map at this time. Tween is still third in points, but as you said, only 2 points behind at the moment, which is very important there. Spam in the last round, kind of going to finish in 2 wheels there, but Tween up in the lead here in this round. Massa, however, is not crashed, so anything can happen in this round, and Massa is overtaking the lead as a result. Very strong on this map is Massa, but Spam dropping slightly back as well, and Tween is not able to keep up with Massa so far. Spam, however, trying to overtake Tween, did get a tiny bit of airtime on his 2 wheels for a slight bit, but Spam makes a big mistake there. That could cost him all his points in this round. Where's Massa and Tween? Massa on a strong time still, looking for another 103 here. Tween, I'm sure, will just be looking for the safe finish, and he does get it no problem. A 103.8 for Massa, and where's Spam? Will he finish? He won't, so that costs him quite a lot, and you can see he's now 15 points behind Roa.
Yeah, he finally won a round, but then he screwed up with a no finish and loses some points again. So he still keeps the 4th place in this match and some distance to the other players. Massa takes the lead again. by 6 points advantage. So he's definitely showing very good times on this map. In the warm-up, in the time attack, now also in the match. Except of one crash, he's really doing well here. So this time we have Massa and Spam fighting for first, and Tween and Roa for third. Were like 1500 behind the lead, but Tween with an extraordinary good turn comes closer to Massa and Spam. Also has a lot of speed here, and Tween will go into the lead. Actually tries the inside line. Massa comes back with more speed, but a worse angle than Tween. So Tween has the lead now. The ending will decide. Also Spam is still in it. Tween with the extra slide goes for the inside line, jumps very inside into the finish, gets the 103.95 and gets the 10 points here. Massa 6 points on second, Spam third, and Roa didn't finish. So Roa is falling back in this match. He had a lot of crashes now on this map.
We saw actually Roa was quite close behind that group. He must have just tried a full risk and consequently failed, unfortunately for him. So that map was really costly for Roa, though. He had quite a good lead going into that, but now he's 12 points behind Massa. And now Massa, as we were talking about, can be quite a momentum player. So now he has the momentum. He's getting good times despite being denied there by Tween in the last round. So will that be consequential going into Toxic? We've seen Massa had some incredible times there in the last match. A few 105-1s actually. So will it be the same case here? Will he keep it up going forward? Or will we see Tween, Spam or Roa having something to say about that?
Yeah, I believe that Massa has a great chance here to extend his lead. And yeah, at the moment we have Massa and Tween at the top two positions, so the two guys from the winner bracket final. Of course, if you don't count their bonus points from the start of the match, then well, they still would be at the top two. It would be a bit closer with Roa. But yeah, it would be a very close match actually, if you take away those bonus points.
They just done a 105-1 and a 105-2-1 in the warm-up, which are somehow, of again, the fastest times we've seen on this map. So we can only hope that that will result in then some fantastic times to start us off with on round number 1. Let's check out Roa, who was second in that round. However, as third in the point standings, I'm sure he'll be looking to improve that situation specifically. But let's see what he can do here. So, kind of a tricky start, it must be said, for the players. Not just, of course, to worry about crashing, but to get the best line coming out of it. You want to keep your gear going through this long left-hander here. Roa does, but he goes a bit wider than Massa, so Massa with a slight advantage already. Tween, however, has dropped down to 4th, but he has actually just overtaken Spam, who must not have had a very good section there. But still, no major mistakes being made by these players. A lot of extra speed coming out there from Roa, but didn't really get him much. Of course, he had to brake a lot going through into the next corner. Tween, however, trying to get in this fight for first place. He's overtaking Roa, but will Roa have a better exit? He won't. Tween is on the charge here now. Will he be able to overtake Massa? He's now equal. Lower in the jump as Tween, so he might have the chance here. Uses his Ramstein to initiate his drift. And now going on to the final turn here, Tween and Massa side by side. Tween has a better exit here, more speed, but he fails the finish jump. And he has to go down to last as a result, sacrifices 10 points in place of 3, and that is the worst deal that he could have gotten there. And now Massa goes up to 90 points for 105.3.
Very unlucky for Tween. He definitely had the 10-pointer here, but lost it in the end. Massa performing very well here, and we see Spam with a crash. So Spam on last place in the overall standings and will not score that great in this round as well, so he falls back even further. However, Massa is only on 3rd place now. Will he do the comeback in this round? He's trying to get Tween. He goes risky over the borders, barely makes the jump. Still stays on 3rd place. Now comes with the inside line, overtaking Tween. Very good turn by Massa, but Roa still has a good lead in this round. Massa again with the inside line. Also here, Tween has not more speed after the turn, so Tween lost it here. We have Massa going with the ramp trick. But he doesn't come closer, that much closer to Roa. Roa still with a chance to win, it's just one turn remaining. Massa probably will take second and Tween third. They all can save it, they all do save it. Spam gets last, so that puts Roa close to Tween in the overall standings, just 1 point between each other.
Well, look at that time by Roa though, a 105.15. That is half a tenth behind the fastest time driven on this map so far in this competition. But we do move on to round number 3. Roa showing that he's wanting in that grand final, he's wanting the chance to be winning TMProLeague. I believe he got 3rd or 4th in the previous edition, I can't recall exactly, but nevertheless we do see him actually still down in 3rd in points. But Tween, a bit of a strange line there, is in 2nd in points but only by 1 point ahead of Roa at the moment. But nevertheless, back onto this round at hand. Roa again up in 1st place here, Spam in 4th, gets a bit of a slowdown going through that section, so has to drop back. Roa here though still up in the lead, but not the best section from him, allows Tween and Spam the chance to catch up. Roa with the extra drift going for the inside line. Massa's made a big mistake and falls back. However, Roa keeping his lead, albeit very slightly. Roa going for a very slight ramp trick there, only 700s ahead. Tween's going to have more speed here. I think he had to release though. Roa's going to have a comfortable lead here going through into the end, and another good time here to finish him off on this map, and it's a 105.3 by Roa. 10 points for him, 6 for Tween, and only 4 again for Spam. So despite him getting a clean round here, he just didn't manage to get the points that were needed, and Massa rounds us off with 3 points.
Yeah, it seems that the previous map was just not working for Roa very well, but on the first map and now also on this map he's performing nicely and comes back in the match. Actually overtook Tween already in the overall standings. It's also pretty close to Massa, just 5 points. Massa on 99. Remember, we play until 130, so it's still some rounds to go until we get to the finalist status. In this round we saw Roa crashing already, so now he maybe will lose his 2nd place in the overall standings again as Tween is in the lead. But Massa is chasing Tween for the 1st position in this round. Gets good speed but had to adjust his line a bit by releasing. Tween with the inside line here, jumps a bit more to the right. Still, it's very close between each other. Massa goes for more speed. Oh, he will overtake Tween here. Last turn remaining. Massa goes for the inside line. He has the shorter line. He only has to get the jump and he gets it. Massa is taking the 10 points away from Tween, who gets only 6, Spam 4, and Roa didn't finish. That puts him behind Tween in these standings again. They would be equal if he would have finished with 3 points.
And so that moves us on to Cold Sweat by Santana. But despite Massa having such a bad start to this match, he's now in the zone at 109 points. Tween on 97, still again as the top 2 positions that matter, nothing else. Roa and Spam currently in the elimination spots. They are currently in places to be sent packing from the tournament. But if I was Spam in this case, I'd maybe consider calling a timeout just to allow me the chance to reset and get myself back in the zone for some good times, because he is getting some clean rounds but he's just not able to match the pace of the other players. So maybe a timeout would help him, but of course maybe he's just not one of the players that believes in that sort of thing. Again, it is a relatively new concept. But what would you say we can expect from Cold Sweat?
Yeah, I think Spam is not really doing bad here, but he's not fast enough to get the very big points. Especially on the last map, we've seen that he only scored 3rd positions in the rounds, and yeah, couldn't get the big points. And yeah, 3rd is only 1 point more than a 4th, so it's not rewarding at all. That leaves him at the last position at the moment, and he can't really catch up like this.
Well, leading us into round number 1 on Cold Sweat. So let's check out Spam and see if he manages to start his recovery here. I seem to remember him having a good performance in his previous matches on Cold Sweat. Let's take a very early lead through the 1st corner, but of course Massa and Roa off the wider lines do catch up, and Massa now extends his lead slightly. We might see a lot more mistakes coming out from these players, or perhaps not. course, we are now leading with a higher we are at a higher level of player we would have been used to be seeing in the lower bracket, of course, in the consolidation final. Each one of them go for the outside line here. Tween with a lot of speed overtaking Roa, trying to catch up with Massa. Roa crashes into the CP there, and he will still be able to finish. He keeps himself out of the little tunnel, but Massa in the lead with a strong lead here of 2,500s here, and Spam is in third place by another 2/10 behind Tween. Tween looking to come back to Massa a little bit here, only a 1/10.5 between them, but still Massa has a bit of breathing room here and can go for the finish without much of a problem, and secures it with a 1:04.361, which is one of the fastest times again we've seen here, only 300ths from the fastest time driven by Massa himself on this map. So that leads us into round number 2 with Massa 11 points away from finalist.
Yeah, Massa is really stepping up his game. He's more consistently now. He got the most 10 pointers in this match in total, and this puts him into the lead. So despite all his crashes, all his last places, this is what matters in the end, getting first, and now he's getting this pretty consistently. And yeah, he finds himself at the first position again in this round. On second we got Spam, then Tween. Also Roa already failed, is 8/10 behind, and we saw Tween now making a mistake, falling back onto the last position. So that leaves only Massa and Spam on the top. Spam is not that far behind, so maybe he can catch up. It would be very needed for him to get the 10 points in this round. So he tries everything. This is his only chance. He has to get the 10 points. But Massa gets a very good turn here, just the finish time remaining, and both make it. Massa wins it with a 1:04.05. What a sick time by him.
1:04.05, the fastest time driven so far in the playoffs, and no surprise it is by Massa, but how must Spam be feeling? He drove one of the fastest times that anyone has driven on Cold Sweat, and he still gets second, so really unlucky for Spam, it must be said. But now Massa 1 point away from finalist mode. Tween is quite further back. He has a 23-point lead over Tween at the moment, so Massa really stepping it up. He really pushed himself into his top gear at the moment, and he's really showing what a dominant player he can be. So again, at 130 points is the limit here. Roa's in the lead though, but he gets a no slide straight into the pole, and that fully ruins his run, and he is out of the fight for first, and risks losing further points towards Tween and Massa here. So Roa's chances of getting to the grand final are diminishing with each mistake that he makes. But Spam now in the lead, and Tween crashes as well. I don't believe Massa will overtake him. Massa just too far behind, but Spam on another great time here on this map, but will finally get 10 points with a 1:04.22, and does bring himself up to 92 points. But Massa finishes, so he's now up to finalist mode here. Tween on 112 points, so Massa has at least 2 rounds in the bag, but will he get it in his first time of asking?
A very deserved 10 pointer for Spam here. He's really trying some good rounds here, and finally gets rewarded for it, and comes a bit closer to Roa and Tween, so Spam is not really out for the fight for second place and reaching the grand final. Still he has to continue to perform like this, but anyway, we have Massa now with the finalist, so, and he looked really good on this track. If he makes no mistakes, then he maybe could win it in this round. But in this round, it's really close. All 4 players are still very close to each other, only 800s between them. But Massa on the last place, no, we see Tween on the last place, but it's so close. Also, Roa is back there. Spam has a tiny lead, so Spam with another good round. Can he deny Massa? Massa now in front of Tween and Roa. So Massa taking second in this round, and now comes back to overtake Spam maybe, but Spam holds the lead, so just this 1 turn remaining. Massa will definitely risk it, close to the pole. Oh, what a transition. The last turn decides. Massa goes for the low jump and he overtakes Spam. Oh, Massa is getting it. He goes into the grand final, and Spam with another second place, sadly for him. And Tween also with a 1:04 mid on third place in front of Roa. Very close match. Very close round.
What an incredible end there by Massa. You could tell he was really taking everything out of the track that it had to give there. And now Massa asks for a 2-minute break despite him being through. So the warm-up
Does that work?
I believe it does work. That's the strange thing about it. He just wanted to test it. Oh god. So the first time out being called is by the player who is not in the match anymore, but Softy will unpause it, so we'll be fine. So we go back onto Sin City here. I'll take a quick look and see how the players were going on Sin City, but we do have Tween 14 points away from finalist mode, Roa 23 points away, and Spam is 32 points away. So each player can reach finalist mode in this map. However, Tween will be the favourite for this. Within the rounds that have been played, he has had the best performance, the best regular times. Spam performed very well in here in this, but this was a map where he kind of had a lot of trouble with the finishing off the map. Sorry, finishing in first place, pardon me. Roa as well, relatively decent, but will we see Roa recovering from his many mistakes here? Is the question. So we will be putting ourselves live after the unpause has come in for Softy, and we will have the freeway fight between Tween, Roa and Spam going forward. Let's see, the unpause should be fine. Admin stop the break, and do we go live now? We do. So we're going to start off with Roa as he attempts to get a bit closer to Tween in his battle for the finalist status. So Tween will need a win and then a second or a third place to get himself into finalist mode, I believe here. So he needs 14 points, and it's looking good for him already. Roa has crashed early on, so now only Spam can deny Tween a win to get himself that bit closer to finalist mode and that bit closer to the grand final. Again, Spam needs to take into account now that he's getting closer and closer to being eliminated from the tournament here. So it's time to step up. However, might not be required in this round due to Tween making a late mistake. Sorry, a mistake through the middle of the round here, and give Spam a 2/10 advantage. Can Spam convert that into a much needed 10 points here? Bring himself that much closer to Roa and consequently to Tween, but Tween's risking it here. He wants that first place, goes over so much of that block there. Any closer and I'm sure he would have bumped out, but Spam still in the lead, but only 600s between them. Can Tween do it in the last corner? Spam has enough of the angle and does get it for 104.8 by him. Good race again coming out from these players. There always seems to be a tight battle for the top two, regardless of any mistakes made, but that brings Spam up to 108. Tween, however, needs the win from this next round on 122, and Roa 11 points behind him.
Great performance by Spam in the last round, so he really caught up a lot in the points. Got a lot of first and second places, and when he got second there was just Massa in front of him, not Tween and Roa, so Spam is beating them like consistently in the previous round. He's really catching up and might play a big role in the fight for second place in the end. Tween, however, needs the first place now if he wants to get a finalist status already. And he is in the lead, and this section that we will face now, he did so well in the previous round. It was so incredibly fast and quick. So can Spam actually do the same and come back from this? Both had to adjust their lines a little bit on the blue, I think. And there goes Spam crashing. Oh, Spam with no points in this round, so it's just Roa versus Tween. But Tween seems to take the first place and will get the final status. Just this one trip remaining, he gets it. Jumps safely into the finish, and there we go. With a 104.81, Tween will move up to finalist status. And Massa, I think Roa and Spam needs to deny him some rounds.
So Tween now has at least a 1 round advantage over Roa. Roa needs to get first in this round, or hope Spam manages to deny Tween here to get himself that bit closer to finalist mode. But like I said, Tween with 2 rounds in the bag here in the fight for the grand final. So Roa and Spam now is their last chance saloon here. They need to deny Tween. So Tween slightly behind here early on. I've seen Tween have good sections further on in the map though, and he is already right next to Roa here. Spam's in this mix as well. 22,000s between all of these players here, and it's a very close round. Will this be the round that finishes off the consolidation final? That is all in Tween's hands. He overtakes Spam, has a bad turn there. They need to risk going through the ending here. Tween goes for it, but has to drift extra. Now he goes back to last place. Spam crashes now. Only Roa can deny him, but Roa is behind. Roa will need to risk the last turn. He's going for the speed, but he won't have it. Tween manages to take second place in this match and will secure the grand final slot with a great ending there to that round by Tween, and he sends Spam and Roa out of the competition.